Podsters, we're back. Took a little hiatus last week. You might have noticed that you did not get your usual weekly dose of Unmute Yourself, the podcast. And I'm back. And I'm back with a really good topic this week. I'm excited about this, and I've been thinking about this for a while. So we're going to talk about judgment and more specifically, the ripple effect of what happens if you let your fear of being judged stop you from doing what you want to do.
Are you ready to speak up, stand out, and get your seat at the table? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to Unmute Yourself, the podcast where you'll get real-life anecdotes and actionable tools for you to step into your strengths, debunk imposter syndrome, truly know your worth, and show up like you own the room every time. I'm your host, Nancy Medoff, who did the thing and followed my passion for empowering women like you to unleash that inner spark and become who you know you are meant to be. I'm a diehard foodie with a raging Skittles habit who will not stop until women everywhere unmute themselves and truly thrive at work, at home, or wherever you may be. Let's do this.
So let's start with the basics. People are judging you every day, no matter what you do. When you wave to your neighbor, when you're taking out your trash, they're judging you. When you are in the supermarket, you're being judged. When you're at work, you're being judged. Your kids are judging you. Your partner's judging you. Everybody, strangers are judging you. So again, what happens when you let this hold you back is that you're so worried about being judged, which we all are, that you don't really step into what it is that you want to do or what you want to say or who you want to be or what you want to wear or how you want to show up. The reason this is top of mind for me right now is because I recorded a podcast back in January. I was a guest on Negotiate Anything. This is the #1 negotiation podcast in the country. Kwame Christian is the host. He is fantastic. And if you don't know Kwame, you will, I promise you, as soon as you're done listening to this, because I'm going to link in the show notes to this episode. Anyway, this is the third time I was on his podcast, which is pretty exciting for me because I love his podcast. He's great. He's a great speaker. He's a great motivator. He's a great negotiator, trainer, all the things. And we were on, and I wasn't really sure what direction we were going to go in the podcast. And as it turned out, when I listened to it, it was really about how releasing the fear or just accepting that people are going to judge me really, really helped me step into the next phase of my business. And also it helped me step into this political arena that I'm in. So if you're new to the podcast, I ran for public office in my town. I was elected, and I am now one of the town leaders. We don't talk about it that much here. Sometimes when that part of my life translates over to business or confidence or judgment in this case, I'll bring it in. But this podcast is mostly about your business and your confidence and how you're showing up and how to thrive. So I was listening to this podcast and I loved it. And I said things that I didn't even remember that I said. And I thought to myself, I really need to talk about this on my podcast, because here's the thing. Imagine if you spend your whole life worrying about being judged and at the same time knowing that people are always judging you. So you're always going to be worrying about being judged, always, because it's always happening. And the minute you can release that or, know it, understand it, and not let it hold you back is when you really get to live the life you want to live. As a speaker, every time I step on stage, I'm being judged. Think about it. Think about the last time you saw a speaker, or went to go see, or you went to a workshop or a seminar or a conference. The minute I walk on stage, it starts. It's fine. It's to be expected. I'm there, and I'm there to deliver a message. People could be, do they think I'm smart enough? Is the message resonating? How's my outfit? Does she know what she's talking about? Is this boring? Is she engaging? Is she credible? All these things. And I know that I check all the boxes on all these things, yet it's still out there and it's still happening. And if I let it stop me, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So think about the ripple effect of this in the speaking arena. And then I'm going to get to the political arena in a minute. In the speaking arena, if I let it stop me, think about the thousands of women that I've trained. Think about this podcast. Think about if I waited or if I didn't start the podcast. We're 160 some odd episodes in now. So that's 3 years. 3 years in, we've built this community. We're rebranding the community, which reminds me, Thrive Hive. Stay tuned. April 4th, we launch. Same people, little bit different messaging, little bit different content. And if you're listening to this podcast, I guarantee that you're going to love this community. So Thrive Hive coming at you soon, April 4th. So we're also rebranding the podcast. So you'll see that. If I let it stop me, think about the thousands of women who still wouldn't be speaking up. Think about the hundreds of women that I've coached one-on-one or in groups who would not be living this life that they knew was available to them. And I'm going to end the segment with a tale of two clients today, and I think it's going to be really, really telling. So that's the speaker. Every time I walk on stage, being judged, can't let it stop me. If I did, I would never go on stage and speak. I wouldn't have written the book. I wouldn't have launched the podcast, all the things that I just mentioned. All right. So let's talk about politics, or I don't really like to consider it politics. This is really government or municipalities. So I'm constantly judged. I'm judged by the people that voted for me. I'm judged by the people that didn't vote for me. I am judged by people who know me. I'm judged by people who don't know me. I am judged by the newspaper. I am judged by the team that runs the town. It's constant. And when I was running, this is what I'm bringing this back to the Kwame podcast. When I was running and there were all kinds of things being said about me, I would say of the negative things that were being said about me, probably 98.6% of them simply weren't true. And they were being said by people who I had never met. So you haven't met me and you're saying this about me. How does that make any sense at all? It doesn't. And yet it happens and there's nothing I can do about it. So if I let that fear, or if I let that, I'm trying to think of the word, it's not really fear. It's not even hesitation. Irritation. If I let that stop me, I wouldn't have ran and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing and trying to make positive change and move the entire town forward, whatever that looks like. So you can't be in the spotlight and not be judged, period. All right. So if you know that being judged is a part of life, and if you know that it's happening all the time, why then do we let it hold us back? And I don't have the answer to that, because we all let it hold us back at different points in our life, or what might or might not be happening at the time. So let me tell you the tale of two clients. And this just came to me, and I think it's kind of sad, but it's also kind of enlightening too. One client came to me and wanted to really level up her business. She's a small business owner. She runs her own business. She wanted to really level up and take her business to the next level. So we worked a few sessions together and we talked about, okay, what's your positioning and what's your ideal client like? And what do you do now that you don't want to do anymore? Because when you're in business for yourself, and when you're in business for yourself and you do it the right way, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't. You can either outsource it or pay someone to do it, or you simply don't do that. Now, I'm not talking about balancing your checkbook. I'm talking about, like, right now, I don't offer one-time only coaching. Like, if you want to coach with me for an hour, that's not something I currently offer. The reason I don't offer that is because 1 hour of coaching probably isn't really going to raise the bar. And I want you to be happy, and I want you to be feeling good about the work we do together. And I want to see you make change. I don't think 1 hour can do it. Can it help situationally for a minute? Yes. But is it long-term sustainable change? It's not. So I don't offer it. One of the things this woman was offering was these onesie twosies items that she didn't really want to do that anymore. So we took a look, we streamlined her business. Okay, what do you want it to look like? What does this offering really look like? We redid her copy. And for those of you who might not know what that is, that's marketing speak for how she positions herself and how she describes what she does, who she is, why you should work with her, all of that stuff. So we honed in on, this was over several sessions or a few sessions, and we honed in on all of this. And this was good work. I'm telling you, she was ready to just blow it out. And all of a sudden, she ghosted. She just gone. Did not engage, did not execute on anything we talked about, I don't think she actually really changed anything that we talked about changing. And she didn't do it because she was afraid. And she was afraid of what other people in her industry would think and say when she positioned herself this way. She wasn't being arrogant. She wasn't being obnoxious. She was just saying, here's what I do. Here's how I do it. And she was so paralyzed by this fear. She didn't do any of it. And she's doing the same thing that she always did. Now, that's okay if that's fine. And if that's status quo and status quo is working, that's great. Okay. I wish her no ill will. That's, okay. I think that she could have blown it out. I think she could be making triple what she was making, if not more. And more importantly, serving triple the number of people that she serves. She's extraordinarily talented, extraordinarily talented. And her fear of judgment stopped her from getting in front of the people who need her the most. And that's what I mean by the ripple effect. Not only do you stop yourself, you stop everybody else that you could be helping. And that, to me, that's the real tragedy. So let's talk about a different client. This client wanted to leave her corporate job. She's pretty miserable in her corporate job. She had a side hustle in the wellness space. She is fantastic. She was fantastic at both. And we met, we went several sessions, and she did the work. We talked about her ideal client. We talked about what she wanted to do, what she didn't want to do, what her packages might look like. We talked about her copy, her website, all the things. And she jumped in, and she jumped in a smart, strategic, sustainable way so that eventually she could get to where she really, really wanted to be. She did it. She took the chance. She was scared out of her mind. Of course. And especially because in the wellness space, and I'm going to ask her about this. I'm going to bring her on the podcast soon. And I'm going to ask her about this because in the wellness space, I believe you're judged even more because you're the wellness guru. Think about Gabby Bernstein. Think about some of these yogis that are out there. You really, if your goal is to help people, you are particularly more vetted and more judged because if I'm going to hire you to help me, I want to know that you have the chops to do it. So I'm going to look you up. I'm going to take a look at this and that and the other thing. And I'm judging the whole time. Anyway, so she did it. She stepped into it. Did she start 360 degrees and, every day doing exactly what she did and only what she wanted to do? No, because you can't. You're not going to be able to start your side hustle or double down on your side hustle and do what you do and only what you like to do all day long. You will get there eventually, 100%. I will guarantee that if you double down and you do the work. So fast forward 2 years maybe, and this is it. She is fully in this life where she is doing what she loves to do. She is so excited. You can hear it in her voice. And she is going to be serving and helping so many people. And if she let her fear of being judged stop her, she wouldn't be doing it. Okay, so one of the reasons why you listen to this podcast every week is because we talk about actionable advice. And it's funny. Someone I work with said to me, well, do you have any actionable advice besides stop giving a hoot? It's not exactly what she said because it's not what I said, but your kids could be in the car, so I'm going to PG it a little bit. And I just burst out laughing when I heard her ask that. I said, "You stop caring. Is there actionable advice besides that?" And I mean, that really is the biggest piece is you don't stop caring, but because somebody just mentioned something to me a couple of days ago that someone said about me when I was running for office that wasn't true. Had never met this person, had never sat down and spoken to this person, and yet they're saying all these things. And you don't stop caring, but you stop letting it stop you, or you stop giving it too much weight. Because here's the thing, when someone's judging you and how they're judging you and how they're speaking about how they're judging you says much, much more about them than it does about you. And that's a really nice way to look at it. And whenever I think about that, I think about a few years ago, I had a boss or so, I can't remember, it was a boss or someone in senior leadership. And they were saying something about, I don't know, it was about something I was doing at the time. And I said to my colleague, yeah, okay, well, that's fine. I'm not really going to pay much attention to that. And they were like, well, what do you mean? This is your boss or whoever it was. And I said, well, I don't really respect that person. I don't really value their opinion. So if I don't value their opinion, why would I let it stop me? And this brings me to this quote. For years, I thought it was Brene Brown. It's not. It was Theodore Roosevelt. And it's called The Man in the Arena. And I'm going to read it to you because I really, really love this. I keep it close. And I think it will help you. And if it helps you even a little bit as much as it helped me, it's going to change. It's going to drastically change the trajectory of your career or your life. Ready? It's called The Man in the Arena. Now he says man. I'm going to substitute it with woman. Just know that it was man. Okay. It is not the critic who counts, not the woman who points out how the strong woman stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends herself in a worthy cause, who, at the best, knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if she fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat. So that's a little long. And what I pull out of that and what Brene Brown pulled out of it was, if you're not in the arena, if you're not doing the thing, if you don't have skin in the game, if you're sitting on the sidelines, I'm not interested. So when you're trying to decide if you're going to do the thing, whatever it may be, maybe it's the outfit, maybe it's the career pivot, maybe it's the relationship change, whatever it may be. If the people that are holding you back or the opinions that are holding you back are from people who haven't done it or don't have skin in the game, why would you give it any credence at all? And what would happen if you didn't? What would happen if you stopped letting that fear of judgment hold you back? What would the ripple effect be for you? So Podsters, with that, one actionable thing I'd like you to do this week. Think about something that you've been wanting to do, but you haven't been doing it because of fear of judgment. It could be a tiny little thing like learn golf. It could be a huge thing like go for the big job, launch the podcast, write the book, do the thing, whatever it may be. Think about that one thing that you're afraid of doing because of your fear of being judged, and take just one step towards doing it. Just one. Pretend you don't care about being judged and take one step. And then meet me back here next week, Podsters, because it's getting good.
That's a wrap, Podsters. And before we go, I ask you, what's one thing from today's episode that you will use this week to unmute yourself? DM me, email me, send a smoke signal, whatever you need to do. Let me know what you're going to do differently. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone you know and leave a 5-star review on Apple. This helps me spread our message of empowerment to more people worldwide. Let's do this.